Good morning and welcome to our March 20th board meeting. Appreciate your attendance here. We will have an opportunity a little later in the agenda for a call to the public. If any of you would like to participate in that, there are some sign-in sheets, but you can certainly, if you haven't signed one and need to speak, then you can sign it after you've spoken. So we're going to start our meeting this morning with our Highway Department Director, Steve Pouzis, leading us in the pledge.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Our first item of business is approval of the minutes of our regular board meeting held 2 weeks ago and the work session held on also on March 7th.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Make that unanimous. That motion carries. Next is we have our, Trey Andrews isn't able to be here. He's our fairgrounds director. And so Dustin Welker will talk about some the high school and junior high school rodeo and the work, some of the overtime needs.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Our junior high school rodeo is coming up on Saturday and Sunday, March 25th and 26th. And we've been working real hard getting the arena ready and prizes and coordination. And it's a pretty big event, one of our biggest events out at the fairgrounds. And because it is weekend work, we have historically come to the board and asked for permission to have some of our employees work overtime, and they're listed on your agenda request. So we're just officially coming to ask that they're able to work those overtime hours to be able to help make the rodeo run smoothly.
Very good. Do you have an estimate on the number of hours?
I do not. I can get that to you, what we did last year, but they typically will be out there the entire day for both days. So okay. I anticipate 8 to 10 hours for both days for each employee.
Okay. Any discussion or questions?
I just think it's really important that we support this rodeo for our youth, and it's good for the community, the economy, and everything else. And the better we can make that rodeo and run it smoothly, I think we need to support this.
Thank you.
Yeah, Chairman, with what I've heard, I'll move that we approve the overtime for the employees Mike Ladinsky, Jim Gutierrez, Rose Mendez for the 2023 high school junior high rodeo.
I will second that.
I'll make that unanimous. Motion passes. Next we have a request from Southwest Gas. They have Paul Larson as their local director. He is here. Is that something you're going to present that? Yeah. To your request to they're putting in a new line. Is it replacing or new? Yeah, it's a replacement. Okay, go ahead and I'll let you speak from the podium. So thank you.
So yeah, I'd like to thank you gentlemen for the opportunity to present this. So this project is it's gonna be right around 14,000 foot of main replacement, and additional 100 services are going to be either retired, replaced, or moved up to the home. So let me get over to the PowerPoint here. Oh, I clicked on the wrong one. Get back down here. Oh, all right, thank you. So here's a kind of a shot of the overall project. This is on First Ave right here, just north of the railroad tracks. We're going to go down. We have a line that takes off just north of the railroad tracks. It's a 4-inch PE line, and it serves all of Hillcrest. So it goes through that commercial part of town, and then it runs through the cotton fields and goes all the way out to Hillcrest. And that line right now is being served by a 2-inch line. We just did a replacement right here, which was in the town of Thatcher area. we replaced the line going under the railroad tracks. We went from 2-inch to 4-inch. And so this project is gonna tie onto that line and go down, tie into our existing 4-inch, which feeds across the river. There's a lot of new homes going in that area right there, so we need to do some reinforcement to shore that up. So we're gonna come back down First, or south on First Avenue. We're gonna cast all those little side streets, and when we get to 8th Avenue, we're gonna take a right, and we're gonna go west on 8th Avenue all the way down to Arena Way.
8th Street.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, 8th Street. And that's the area in question there. So here, it's hard to see from where you're at, but you can see all the blue lines. That's basically all the main replacement that we're gonna be doing in this area. It's old vintage steel there. We have a lot of threaded fittings. We have a lot of leakage in that area. It's kind of a high populated area, so we wanna get in there and take care of this. And then let me get down to 8th Street here. So we have we've identified 14 locations on this project where we'll probably need to cut a 1x2 or a hole in the street in order to find existing utilities, so when we bore in the new gas main or service, we're not hitting those. And this is a bore project. It's not an open trench project, so we're not gonna be tearing up all the asphalt down 8th Street. We're just gonna be potholing in certain areas to protect the other utilities and verify their location. There's blue stake law that requires us to pothole them and find those. So as you know, when we go out there, there could be potential for more, there could be potential for less, just depending on what you find in the field. So I know the city of Safford has water lines there. They're not exactly sure where they're at, so there'll be a little investigating to find those. So once we get done with the project, what we do is we complete the bore, we pothole utilities, we'll bore through. Once we're done, they'll go in, they'll do 100% compaction, and then they'll come in and they'll put coal patch down to temporarily hold that. And then once the entire project is complete, we'll come back and do a hot patch on it to county specs at 12-inch T-top. We know 8th Street's a very busy road. We'll have traffic control. We have a company out of Tucson that comes in and does all of that. I don't know if you guys noticed it on First Avenue when we did the road crossing on First Ave, but we had an automated system out there with a guy monitoring it with the arms that go up and down. In addition to that, right here, Kinder Morgan comes through. Back in I believe it was 2014, when the co-op had the gas, they had an outage. They lost approximately like 4,000 customers. And this area was kind of the culprit right here where we tied into Kinder Morgan. So in addition to replacing the main, we're gonna be putting in a new regulator station, a mainline tap right there. And this is all gonna be upsized from 2-inch, 1.5 inch steel to all 4-inch PE mainline feeder. And over here on First Ave on the south, we're gonna be tying in right there to some existing 3-inch steel that feeds Daily Estates. So not only is it gonna provide pressure reinforcement, it's also gonna eliminate issues with threaded fittings in that area. And in addition to that, I'm sure the county would be happy with this, is we approached all the customers. Our goal is to take the meter from in-county right-of-way or Thatcher right-of-way and move that meter up to the house. And when we do that, it gets it out of that right-of-way, and there's less chance for that meter to get hit, which is huge for us. I don't know if you guys, the unfortunate incident that happened the other day with the power pole that got hit there, created quite a fiasco there, but that's something that we're trying to avoid by getting these meters moved up to the homes. And we'll work with the county, whatever it takes to get it done, whatever we need to do to make sure that that road is in the best condition possible when we're done. We've had, last year we did Stadium Ave, we went in, didn't hear any complaints. We had the parade coming through there. We did an excellent job of working with the town of Thatcher to ensure that their needs were met, and that road was, in perfect condition when we got done with the project. So, you guys, that's about all I have. Do you guys have any questions?
Any discussion? I've got several, but I'll wait.
Well, I think this is, I have not really a concern, but you know as well as I do how busy that street is. Eighth has become like a vein for our city is lately, but this is certainly something that needs to be done as a safety aspect for our customers and you guys, and that line is definitely needed of improvement over the years. It's been run to nothing. But how long will this project take, do you think?
It's 14,000 foot. We anticipate, we're hoping, we're hoping the main line work, like out on 8th Street and all that, we're hoping to be done hopefully by August. The kickoff date is April 3rd. We're hoping to be done hopefully by the time school's back in session with the main artery there. And then the services and we're looking probably September at the latest.
Yeah.
And correct me if I'm wrong on that, Bo.
Yeah, I just, like I say, it's a busy street. I just ask that you move it along as quickly, keep the traffic flowing as well as you can. I know it'll be congested at times, but you can only do the best you can do.
Yeah. Noted.
Supervisor Smith,
No? I mean,
Okay.
you got it.
I've got several.
No, I was just saying, hey, I don't know how else to get around it. And I believe that you'll come back and put it back and, you know, too, especially to our specs, but sometimes what seems level to begin with, you know, doesn't work over time. And if, I'll hope that you are diligent, and if there's something that needs attention, you can come back to it and we'll get it back to level. Sometimes it looks good at first, but things settle, and 6 months or a year later, it's cattywampus. And so if you'll be diligent and come back and fix it, I mean, I know that you have to do what you have to do, so thank you.
A couple comments I have is the mag spec is compacted AB backfill, and I would not support using the mag spec just because of the things that Supervisor Smith were talking about. You do, even with 100% compaction, it gets wet, it's gonna squish and move around. I think that we need a upgrade, and I think standard practice in our area is at least a 1 sack slurry backfill, pea gravel backfill, and then and instead of compacted AB underneath the asphalt, again, that needs to be slurried. The T-top won't work if you've got a 1x2 slot that you're cutting for potholing. The wings on the T-top are 12 inches. Each wing is 12 inches, and so you're actually going to end up destroying more pavement to put a T-top in than to just go ahead and fill that the area that you. I'm hopefully you've saw cut that and it's nice and clean. I'm going to leave it up to the highway department to determine whether they want a concrete cap. I know that then you got to wait for that to cure and have traffic control, or whether they would accept a hot asphalt. But I think that you know, that I would if they are saying that they would prefer to have it concreted and hand finished so that it is smooth. That we know that concrete is not compressible, but even a good asphalt that you run a tamper on or a roller on, of course roller wouldn't work because it's too small, but that you still are going to get some compaction, just like Supervisor Smith said, and a bump. So I would be in favor, and I'm assuming the main line is going to be, is it currently under the asphalt? Your main line?
Yeah, in some areas it is. Right now it's on the south side and it jumps to the north side, and
but as far as your longitudinally, does it?
Yeah,
is
most of it's
typically under.
Yeah,
okay.
most of it's under dirt, and then, you know, if we get out there, you can do the best to design it, but when you get out there and then they actually start putting marks on the ground, you know, you end up having to move your running line either way.
Okay, so there's not an opportunity, or at least it wouldn't be economically feasible to relocate that whole line out of the travel lanes.
Yeah, right now it is designed in on the south side of 8th Street in the dirt, and then when we cross, to like Dusty Trail, and then we gotta cross on Arena Way.
Yeah, your laterals.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, we'll be boring under, and it's, with the bore unit, what we'll do is we'll go in and shoot the bore, we'll pull a reamer back, and then we'll pull a 6-inch sleeve through.
Okay.
And then we'll come back after that and pull the 4-inch carrier pipe through that.
Sure.
Once we get it tested, then we'll start tying services over to it. We'll be
Okay.
dig it up. And,
Okay, so your request is actually, this is a no-cut street, that's why you're here. But we allow potholing on no-cut streets all the time. We're just, the no-cut designation is mainly just so that people aren't cutting across transversely, you know, so when they really could bore. So this is more of a pothole request than a cut request, is that correct?
yes, yes. And then if we get out there, there's issues whenever you're boring. We're required to camera all the sewers, so we'll come through. We'll put camera down the laterals, the main line, to identify exactly where those locations are. Sometimes we do run into a scenario where those sewer lines are we can't get a camera down them.
Okay.
And then, so, you know, you're out looking for it. You know, we could possibly tear up asphalt. I think, I'm not sure if there is sewer in that area. I think it might be all on septic.
Okay, my last request is, and it's contingent on, do we keep a record or updated record of as-built from utility companies on file in our highway department office? Okay, well, if he may have, but would you be willing, Paul, Mr. Larson, to provide a set of a utility, once you do the utility locating and putting your new lines in, would you be sure to ensure ensure that we have a set of updated utility locations, both hard copy and GPS?
Where we cross?
Well, just what you find as you go along all the way down our right of way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that we can do. Once we get done, we'll do our as-builting with our utility installs, and then I can ask the contractor to keep notes, and we can do a separate sidebar with you don't see an issue with that, do you, Bo? With the location of those existing utilities, which would be helpful for any other utility that might come in and do some work there in the future.
Okay, well, I'm satisfied with the change in the request from mag specs to a slurry, a one-stack slurry backfill, and then the actual top is the call of the highway department, whether they want it a cold patch initially, and then as you go through to either concrete or a hot patch. So, okay, we're ready for deliberation. Is there a motion?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
could I make a request? Can we
Yes.
hear from Steve Puzis, just to kind of hear his feedback from that conversation?
Yes, that'd be fine.
Okay.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you.
Paul's dad was my grade school teacher. I remember very fondly, Leroy Larson.
Yeah, our only concern is that County Thatcher has bored a sewer line, and then the city of Safford just bored a water line on that far end. So we just want to be consistent and make sure that's, you know, we're not open cutting if we don't have to or find a reason to. I would just ask, maybe get with us in the next couple of weeks, and then me and Daniel and you guys can walk through and let's look at everything, and then, but yeah, I agree. We were going to talk about that backfill, is that those cold patches or hot patches always seem to sink, so just get with us on that.
Thank you.
All right. Chairman, if you're ready for a motion, I'll move that we approve the request from Southwest Gas to cut 8th Street, which is one of our no-cut roads, for their First Avenue 8th Street main and service replacement project.
And I will second that.
I'll make that unanimous. It's approved. Thank you very much. Well done. Next item is the, are you gonna take care of this, Dustin?
Yes.
Okay. A request we had an project estimate that came in over bid and for painting at the fairgrounds.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. One of our bigger projects going into the budget, because of our American Rescue Plan Act money, was to repaint our fairgrounds, which over the 100+ acres, there's a lot of things to paint. We originally budgeted $150,000. As we spent several weeks developing the scope of work, we realized we had more facilities than we anticipated originally, and we added to that. We also added a high bar as far as paint. We met with Dunn Edwards, developed a scope of work to basically prime everything out there, which through the years our park staff has done the best they can with what we've given them. But to really properly paint everything out there, prime it, double coat paint, we really added to that scope of work, and that's why we feel like it came in a little higher than we budgeted. We received one bid, which was from Circle C Painting. They're a local painter. They have 12 employees. They're the biggest painting contractor here. We do feel like they can do the project, and we would like to ask the board to increase that budget from $150,000 to $195,000. I added about $6,000 from what the actual bid was, just in case we run into some unknowns. We have some wiggle room to add a possible change order here and there, if applicable. Hopefully not, but it's such a big and massive project, it's hard to look at everything. Our park staff has been working really hard replacing fascia and sanding all kinds of areas to try to get ready for this project, and we're excited and hopeful that we can do it, and we'd like to do the entire project out all at once, and that's why we're asking for this request.
Any discussion?
I just think the fairgrounds is something that we need to keep maintained and up to date, and painting that is crucial for the look, I believe, and we have to do it right. We can't scrimp on it, so I don't have a problem with this.
No, it's a really difficult thing to try to estimate something that's never been painted, parts of it. And so I can understand why we were a little under to begin with. So, and in this brave new world, I'm glad that we have some money to do it with. So I'll move that we increase the budget for the painting project out the fairgrounds from 150 to 195.
And I will second it.
And I'm pleased to make that unanimous, and that motion carries. Thank you. Next, we have extending for 1 year a contract.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a long-standing contract that we have with the USDA, the United States Department of Agriculture, and specifically Animal and Plant Health Inspection Service, Wildlife Services. This is the contract that allows us to pay Sam Derringer to basically work with not just the ranchers, but also local community members if they have issues with wild or feral animals that are causing damage to livestock, agriculture, or property in Graham County. It's a shared contract, and last year's contract was for $20,839. They sent us a proposed increase of around $800 to $21,682 would be our share to basically team up with USDA to continue these services. And I do believe it's valuable. I know the ranchers really appreciate it. We've called on him locally for some issues too, and I would recommend continuing this contract.
Thank you. Any discussion? The cost difference is maybe just the cost of ammo. It's gone up.
Probably ammo and gas, I would think. But yeah, you couldn't have a better guy doing it. Sam Derringer's top notch. He knows what he's doing, and he does, especially the ranchers, great deed. I've seen and heard all of his great work, so I have no issue with this at all.
Is there a
Yep.
motion?
Yeah, you got it. Chairman, I'll move that we approve the work and financial plan for an additional year with the USDA Animal Plant Health Inspection Service Wildlife Services, otherwise known as APHIS-WS, to mitigate and manage the damage caused by wild animals, livestock, agriculture, and property in Graham County.
And I will second that.
I'll make that unanimous. That motion is approved. Next, we have we've been wonderfully served by Wendy John for longer than I've been in office, probably 2 or 3 times longer, and it's bittersweet. We're happy for her, but we wish that she were going to stay with us for a little bit longer. But because of her choices and her great service, everyone deserves to retire while they still have their health and their ability to enjoy life. And we don't expect you to give everything to leave it all on the court like you would in a game. You don't have to leave it all at the court here. Except our county attorney and assistant county attorney, they have to leave it all at the court. So, but on the court. But so with your decision and your announcement, the opening the position of county recorder has become open. We put out both internally and externally notice of anyone who would like to apply. Who is qualified, and we received 2 excellent candidates, both internal candidates, and so it's difficult to pick between 2 great candidates, and that's a blessing, but we can only pick one. And with that as a preface, then I would go ahead and open for discussion the 2 candidates we have, Jennifer Cochran and Pauline Merriman, and open that up for board discussion and selection of a replacement.
Yeah, sure.
Well, I just think this is, these things are tough decisions to do, especially internal candidates. We have to look at each and every application we get. Elections have become such a item and importance to us, and we have to be very diligent on what we do with our elections. It's ever changing constantly, and it's so important that we have somebody in that position that has the experience and the knowledge to do this. But again, it's just a very important position. And with that being said, this term will be, this appointment will be till the election of 2024. So at that time, anybody can run for that position. And so, with that being said, do I need to say who I am leaning to, or is that just a discussion? Let Danny.
That's just part of the discussion. You can do it any way you want.
Okay.
But we will.
Let's just
nominate and
Okay.
and vote on the
Okay.
nominate.
Okay.
Any comments?
No, it's absolutely terrible. We have I have 2 boys at home, and if I had to choose one or the other, it'd be terrible. But we also have 2 fantastic candidates. If we just had one of them applying, then we would be set in the same way. So I'm happy about that also. So.
And you know, I think we both avoided, all 3 of us have avoided any kind of comments about their personalities and personal comments, just because they're both are dear friends, and how do you know, how can you say extol virtues and then turn around and say one is better than the other? So that's a tough one. I think personalities aside, this is just basically my decision came down to what's best for the office, what's best for at this point in time, what's best for the county based on qualifications, and both are well qualified. So I will, if there's no more discussion, you don't have a dog in, you do have a dog in a fight, but you don't have a vote, so.
No, I do not.
And you're probably going to defer.
I'll take notes.
Okay. That's why, yes. I don't know protocol at this point. We're going to let our deputy county attorney or civil attorney.
I honestly don't know. I mean, she's here and she's withdrawing it in the open meeting. I don't think it's a problem, but
Well, we don't have time for the research, so,
exactly.
okay.
It's fine. She's here. It's an open meeting. She has the ability to withdraw.
Okay. Are you sure that's what you want to do, Jennifer? I understand. So let's go ahead and if you are on the fence about withdrawing, we'll just proceed with a vote and save you that decision.
I think Dustin has something to say.
Yes.
Did he not?
Well, I don't.
No.
Okay. Is there a nomination? Would someone care to nominate?
Yeah, I will nominate Pollyanna Merriman for the position.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second it.
For the purpose of voting, a motion's been made and seconded. All in favor of the appointment of Pauline Merriman, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. So that is unanimous. So thank you, though, for your work, Jennifer. It's disappointing. I would just share that Polly was slated to, she applied for a position that went to someone else for the county election director, and that was hard, and we agonized over that decision too. And so you're not diminished in any way. We appreciate your efforts and all the wonderful things you're doing. We see that progress in our planning and zoning, so thank you. We'll move on to our next business item. Were there any other comments?
Nope.
Okay, thank you both. Next item of business is the brief summary of current events. And I'll start with Dustin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to report on a few of our projects out at our playground. We had a pre-construction meeting on March 6th afternoon after our board meeting, and had a very good meeting with the contractor, and Keith Dennis with Seago also came down and met with us, and that project will start the week of March 27th. So next week they'll begin working on putting those rubber tiles down and also pouring the ADA sidewalks out there. So we're excited about that. Some news on the Gila River fire mitigation project. Our Hydro Pest Control continues to work on those fire breaks, but the one thing I really wanted to report on is, despite Bill Brandau's and our efforts to try to get the Kramies in there every time, we went and stomped out there and thought it was dry enough. You know, here came the rain again and the river rose, and we just could never get in there. And it's not really a project we can go, Kramies can go and work a couple days on and pull out. They have to rent some heavy equipment from out of Texas to be able to do that. So it's kind of like the Fort Thomas Bridge. It's just out of our control at this point. So we have worked with the state forestry, which is where these funds are coming from, and they understand the situation. We've been in contact with them, and we'll just be picking this back up after the nesting season, since we can't get in there in the summer due to the endangered bird species. And we'll be back jumping on it September, October. So that's where that's at. Our fairground installation project, which is insulating exhibit buildings 1 through 4, has started. They've been in exhibit building number 1, and I'll look at Trey. Have they finished that one, Trey? Or
No, so they got the roof done, and it looks like they're coming down right now. They haven't been out there since they've done the roof. And the only reason that they did the roof is because somebody called off one of their jobs. Did that a
Okay.
little earlier than they expected. And they're gonna start, I believe, this week, getting going there a little bit more.
okay, so that started a couple weeks earlier than we anticipated, and now we know why. Thanks, Trey. So they'll continue to work on those. And then lastly, I just wanted to mention the Cottonwood Wash crossing on Klondike Road. Of course, the board approved that grant money, and with the effort of the engineering department and Colin over in the health department, we're able to get those plans out last week, and they will be due on April 13th, and we'll open them on our April 17th meeting. So that's an exciting and much needed project that we're looking forward to. And for now, that's my report, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. My activities over the last couple of weeks, the 7th of March was a busy day. We had a department heads meeting here at the productive meeting, discussed concerns and opportunities. Substance Abuse Coalition, I zoomed into that meeting, and then the Historical Society and the Gila Valley Veterans Services meetings I attended that evening. The Gila Valley Veterans, they're going to have their Veterans Stand Down Day at the fairgrounds this year. They ran out of space at the Armory, and they will do that in the week of Veterans Day. And the Historical Society, that was a planning meeting for their fundraiser. The next day went to Farm Home and Ranch at EAC, listened to weather forecast and strategy for the year. They had breakout sessions, and then later there was a discussion for grants from Senator Kelly's office, and then there was a budget meeting for the Arizona Department of Housing, the local coalition, and homelessness. To wrap up the week, Thursday there was a SEGO public hearing. Supervisor Howard and I attended, alternated on, so we didn't violate any open meeting laws. Then on Friday there was a policy meeting, and our LPC policy, the person assigned for the board who serves is Supervisor Smith, and he's done a great job with that. Next week, Monday, there was a homeless a case conferencing meeting, Safford City Council meeting. They're raising their, I don't know, Steve McGoy is a councilman, but by necessity, because of gas costs skyrocketing earlier in the year, they have a $6 million deficit because of the gas costs, and so they're going to raise the rates 2.2 cents per kilowatt hour, which will increase their 7.7 up to 9.9, which is about 30%. So we all can be more judicious both in our natural gas and our electric use, which is primarily natural gas. But just kind of a heads up, they took it they absorbed as much as they could before passing it on to the customers, but they've got to recoup that. Tough decisions. Historical Society meeting wrap up. They actually made money for the first year, which is pretty remarkable considering the scope of the fundraiser for the pork barbecue competition. Wednesday the 15th, Small Counties Forum, traveled to Phoenix for that, and we hosted. I'll let Supervisor Howard discuss that. And then next morning, listen to the director of ADOT and then both our Arizona Department of Water Resources, as well as No, it was actually ADEQ director, as well as the WIFA, which is the Water Infrastructure Board presentations. Traveled home, and that was it. Busy week, busy couple of weeks. That's my report. Supervisor Howard.
I'll just, I was at most of the meetings that you had mentioned, other than I'd like to hit on the small counties. We had the opportunity to host that. And food was awesome. And we also had our Senator Gowan come in to give us a report on how things are going down there. But it was an honor to host that, and to actually get to sit in on the meetings with ADQ and WIFA and our new ADOT director, Toth. That was very good. And also, I attended my Gila Valley Irrigation District meeting, and that's always an interesting one. Our water situation in the counties has tremendously improved over all of the moisture we've had over this winter, and it continues to improve. The lake's up, our farmers are smiling. They're allowed 6 acre feet of water, but it's funny that they can have 8.5, but they can only get 6. So it's the rules are quite strange at how that works. But the lake's up, and life's good. Thankful for the moisture. That's the end of my report.
Thank you. Supervisor.
Chairman, I'll pass and help us skedaddle onto our executive session.
Thank you. Your efforts are appreciated, and I guess now they're known only to God. Okay. You're welcome. The next item of business is the approval of demands and handwritten warrants.
So moved.
I'll second.
I'll make that unanimous. Next, we have call to the public. If anyone would like to address us, either online or here in the building. Yes, I do. Yes, please, Wendy.
Oh.
I just wanted to get up and especially thank the voters. I am so grateful to them for allowing me to serve as their county recorder for these past 24 years. It's truly been an honor. I want to thank my family, my coworkers, Gwen and Polly, for all the support they have given me, the elected officials, department heads, and all the employees. It has been such an honor to work alongside with them. I truly appreciate them. They're the ones that have made this such an amazing journey for me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Okay, there's an opportunity or need for us to go into executive session to discuss some planning and zoning regulations, some adjustments, and so I will accept a motion to go into session.
So moved.
Second.
And so we'll go into executive session. At the end of that, we will not be making any we won't be conducting any business. We'll be discussing things only, and then if there's any business to conduct, then we would do so after we come out of executive session and back into this room. We don't know how long we'll be in executive session, so you're welcome to wait for us. But otherwise, thank you so much for being here, for your time and your interest in our and your efforts to improve the county. And we'll be in session. Thank you. We're back from our executive session and reconvening into our regular board meeting. And before we adjourn, is there a motion regarding the executive session?
Chairman, I'll move that we direct staff and our county attorney to continue to discuss and work on the proposed changes to the marijuana regulations in our Graham County zoning ordinance.
And I'll second that.
Make that unanimous. Thank you very much. Motion to adjourn. I'll make that motion. We're adjourned.